Hello and welcome to the next level. We are here gathered together tonight. Also in quarantine, but hopefully we'll have some fun gaming for you to enjoy. So first thing, we actually do have an announcement tonight. I have an announcement. So as I might have mentioned, I'm also a writer of novels, and I just had a new one release. It is the last in my Blood of Dragons series. If you're interested, you can go to rmichaelcard.com and you can get all sorts of information there on that book and other books. I also have a couple box sets for my first two series of books that are also going to be available on Amazon soon. I'll put a link on the Facebook page if people are interested to head there. But I think that's pretty much it for our announcements tonight. So
I'll do one.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sorry, you're asking us if we have announcements.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know Mint has one also, right?
Wait, do I?
No, maybe not. Okay, my announcement. For those that are local to us, I've gone through my vault and started pulling off old theater shows, and so this Thursday, we're doing one of my favorite directorial projects, Mrs. Bob Cratchit's Wild Christmas Binge. So if you're looking for more information, let me know in our Twitch chat, and I'll send you a link to. I'll collect your information after the show and make sure you get there.
That was a fun show.
I saw it live. That was fun. Yeah. It'll be just as good recorded.
For sure.
Yes. All right. Any other announcements?
No, but I'm wishing I had one.
We'll have to do more things.
Yes. So as a quick recap of what's happened previously, our heroes have been on an adventure, come back with some spoils from that, and also some bit of a need to go back and to go back out into the Shadow Forest and deal with some of the darkness that's there. But in the meantime, they've spent some time in the city, catching up with family, and otherwise relocating a little bit, making sure that they're in sort of proper accommodations. But we also found out last week that Morgan, a friend of Talyn and Gildy's child, has gone missing, and there seems to be some extenuating circumstances around that. Morgan is a bit of a wild child and seems to have gotten themselves into a bit of trouble, and so Talyn and Gildy have been looking for them. The rest of the group isn't really involved yet, but maybe they will be soon. And also Leone spent most of the last session looking for their misplaced bag of holding, which had been taken from them, and just got some good news, and hopefully we'll be able to find someone to get it back to them soon. But we will start off tonight with Jacob's start of session roll.
All right. Straight up intelligence, right?
Yep.
Why do I always ask this? I should know.
Oh,
16.
Nice.
Something slightly better.
I'm going to quickly remind myself what a 16 means. Okay. And then we're going to dive right in with Jacob. Jacob had spent most of the last session catching up with his sister, Lori, because Jacob doesn't really recall a whole lot of his childhood. But you've had a great lunch with Lori and Yumi, Lori's new very close companion. And probably about mid-afternoon or so, where we are now, what do you want to do?
I have a few things that I want to do. I'll kind of list them in priority order. So last episode, I learned the name of apparently my kind of mentor.
Yep.
So knowing that I somehow know Mint through all this, my primary thing would be to go find Mint to see if that name is familiar to her at all. That would be number one. So if I know where she is or is, I would go find her.
Yep, she is not far away at the Napping Gnome, which is where you are. So.
Oh, that's where I am. Oh, okay, so after lunch, I would actually get a room here. Also, look for something. Well, I'll treat myself a little extravagantly with a nice room, and then go find Mint to talk with her a little bit.
All right. So Lori tells you that she will be performing that evening. So if you wanted to join her for that, you'd be more than welcome. That will be at the Minstrel's Muse once again. But yes, you leave the private dining area room you were in, and pretty much just out in the common room. You can probably find Mint there, or they're sort of still sort of hanging around before going up to their room. You can ask about your mentor's name.
Okay, so I kind of casually play it cool, say goodbye to Lori, and hurry over to Mint, kind of take her by the arm and like, Mint, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, of course.
So that bard person, that was my sister. I can't remember if I told you that or not.
I think I overheard a bit, but that's awesome.
Anyways, so I have she gave me some information. It's not much to go on, but I'm hoping that since we apparently know each other, that you've heard of it. My mentor as an artificer, she mentioned his name was Zanfall, that's it. And I was wondering if that's a name that you're familiar with.
I will sort of fill in on this. So Mint, yes, this is a name you are familiar with. I will give you some information and you can relay sort of as much of it as you like. So your family was the primary outside world contact for a group of artificers that were hiding from the Empire. You were very aware of Zenfell. That is how you met Jacob previously. Jacob was in hiding with Zenfell for a while in the mountains around Jendisa. Zenfell's last name is Twig Snapper. And he was a master of potions and elixirs, as Jacob is also as well. You also know the rough sort of names and specialties of the 8 other master artificers. I will sort of quickly go through them. We'll see if I can pronounce half of these because they're mostly gnome names.
I don't see any reason why I would withhold any of this information from Jacob. So it sounds like I knew that Jacob, I know that you're missing your memory, so anything would help you, right? Or were you hiding that from me?
No, I was being completely honest with you.
You were being completely honest. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I don't see why I would hide any of this from him.
So I just to remind the stream also, when I finally came to in the temple or wherever I was, the abandoned temple, the only thing I had on me was a picture of you, Mint, with a word on the back of it in my own handwriting that said trust. So.
And before we get any further, because I forgot to ask, for our offer for tonight, potentially we have some people who will be going to some gaming houses, so gambling. What could be some interesting people or interesting things that happen at a gambling establishment that you might want to see? And we'll see if we can throw some of that in. Let us know. All right, so back to Jacob. Really quickly, I'll send you this list sort of outside the stream, but there's 9 master artificers. So Zanfell was a master of potions. Kobella was a master healer. Korzavan was the high alchemist. So he was sort of the of those 3, sort of the highest ranked alchemist. Selene was a master of clockwork. Arzin was a master of steel. Wilna was the high battlesmith. Hysar was the master of cannons. Loric was a master of firearms, and Brial was the high artillerist. So those are sort of the 9 known sort of high alchemists. Now, whether Mint sort of will convey this or not, this was information as of about, Mint, when did you leave home? How many years ago?
Oh, goodness. I know we talked about that, and I think it's written down somewhere, but for me to actually find it,
yeah,
I
see
feel
if
like
can
it
find
was.
quickly.
Oh, that's monies. One moment.
I think about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't very, very long since I left my farm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the information that Mint knows as of that time, about 2.5 to 3 years ago. Yeah. So again, I can send you sort of all that. Mint would know, sort of be relatively familiar with all their names and the various areas of expertise. So yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Mint, I also need to let you know I kind of filled Lori in on my memory problem. I don't know if it was wise, but at this point, I have to trust someone. And
I understand, and wanting to trust family. Yeah.
Thanks. But if I could ask you to just keep your ear to the ground, and if you hear about any of these artificers, I'm hoping if I can find one, maybe they have some idea of what I was doing where I was.
I think we both assumed that it was probably an experiment gone awry that caused your affliction. But yeah, it would be good to get that found out. Put any speculation to rest.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
As always,
Jacob,
thank you, Mint.
You do know where the ruins are. Again, you're relatively familiar with that location. It's a little ways north of here. It would be probably about a week's travel, but it's not super far away in sort of continental terms.
I would assume I've kind of, like, in my first few bits of memory loss, would have scoured the area looking for clues for it. And I assume I probably came up empty, but if that's a bad assumption, then there's going to be a trip to the ruins soon.
Yeah, I'll give you some information offline in terms of what you vaguely remember from that time. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. Or maybe it will come to you in tonight's revelation. We'll see.
Okay. So the only other thing I really want to do today, I will at some point check into the cart, make sure things are going okay with that, and then catch Lori at the other bar if that's good. And it's been a whole day since I've gone back from adventure, so some gambling would be really good. I got a lot of coin now. Some gambling and beer at one of the casinos would be great.
All right. I think you were also going to inquire about a room at the Napping Gnome as well.
Yeah. One of the more extravagant ones for the week, just to spend some money as I got it.
All right. And I will open up my book here to the how much things cost page. So you'd probably be looking at for a very nice room for a week. It would probably be about, for just a single room, like 18 silvers per day.
Okay.
So 1.8 gold per day, roughly.
Okay, I will provide a 2 silver tip for an even 2 gold, and
yep. All right.
Done.
All right. You quickly head up. You're not far away to check on your cart. Jadran is there and lets you know that a couple of people have stopped by, potentially interested in some of your wares. He did not necessarily know the value of things, but he sort of got their names down if you wanted to get a hold of them and otherwise see if they were interested in things.
I thank the Colonel for his good efforts.
And he hands you a nail.
Perfect. Okay, so for a while I'll sit there, make a few things, and I'll know to like put prices by them, just so that can be taken off. So that's likely where I'll spend the next couple hours before I go off gambling.
All right. Yeah, if you want to send me, again, it can be after the session, a quick list of like the short list of items that you have for sale and roughly how much they're sold for. I can let you know if people are interested.
Sounds good.
All right. So then we shall catch up with Mint and Tor. So it's we'll still say again sort of late afternoonish. Any other plans you wanted to do today before sort of a dinner and turning in for the evening?
Sorry, dinner and what?
Turning in for the evening.
Ah.
Yes, I know Mint has some potential plans for the evening as well, yes.
Yes, I've got plans. So for afternoon, not really necessarily interested in the gambling thing. I just got a lot of money. I don't really want to flaunt it at a table. I'm likely to get robbed as I leave. So
and Tor's probably going to bypass the gambling and go look at a armor smith potentially.
and I am also interested in potentially upgrading my my weapon so that I can make use of my ability to be armed with offhanded as well as
Would you be looking to go like directly to a smith, like sort of the source, and have something made, or more?
I'm curious to check out ready-made wares first, just to see what they have in stock, because I know they can cost less if they
Probably
have something.
Probably the same for Tor, but it's in his size. It'll be a challenge, but he's willing to look at pre-made first.
Yeah.
Do you want to go shopping together, Torroc?
Sure.
Yeah.
He'd be fine with that.
All right. That way we can mock them if they don't have anything that's small enough or anything that's big enough.
Yep. So the napping gnome provider directs you probably to the Everything Emporium, which is a large, sort of a general store, but he's like saying, you know, it's not specifically for weapons, but they have most of what sort of general type, you know, adventurers would need, or anybody would need. It's a very large place. So try there first, and if that doesn't work, maybe he can direct you to some sort of local actual armor smiths and that sort of thing. If you're looking for magical items, potentially, you could try the Hand of the Mystic or Mistress Maeve's Marvelous Mixtures. But if you're really looking for sort of high-end stuff, that would be up in the High Merchants District, and that would probably be the House of Wands.
Knowing that it sounded like Leone got a good deal there, I'd be more interested in having Leone deal with anything from the House of Wands, and I would give a finder's fee for helping get the price knocked down. But for now, I think, Torroc, shall we proceed towards the Everything Emporium?
Sounds most reasonable. I'm not sure I could afford magical items at this point anyway.
Yeah. Lower level magical items, maybe. If you're interested in checking out the Hand of the Mystic, you can do that. All right, so you get to the Everything Emporium. It really does have everything. Think of it like a large department store. On the map, at least that's not numbered yet. But if you look in the Lower Merchants District, in sort of that central square, it's the large building across the top. So just above where 14 is. Oh, we'll give that right up.
Ooh, the map.
Yeah, sometimes here. Let me see if I can align it. One sec.
What's the map? What's the map?
Go. Of course. Oh.
I think we're moving at it exactly the same time. So I move it and then it jumps.
All right.
What's it doing?
Depending on the size you have it at, sometimes it's hard it sort of goes to white space. It's interesting. All right, so yeah, there we go. Just leave it there. Yeah, so it's the sort of the large, long building across the top of that sort of central square. Yep. And yeah, if you're looking for sort of weapons and armor, there's a whole sort of like sub room filled with that. So what sort of things would you be looking for specifically?
What kind of things exactly? Well, the crossbow I have is two-handed, so it means I can't use anything else unless I find something that maybe is one-handed.
Yep.
So that's the one that really interests me. Also, I don't believe I have any offhanded. I might have an offhanded dagger, but anything better than what I currently have would be good.
All right. Even like a short sword would work. So Yeah, it's very easy. They've got probably even a small assortment of hand crossbows that would range in price from anywhere from about 70 gold pieces up to about 100 gold pieces, just for sort of varying qualities and sort of styles.
Mhm.
For sort of smaller swords, you'd be looking at either sort of a short sword or a scimitar. Scimitars are sort of a little nicer, a little bit potentially not necessarily more well-made, but sort of fancier in sort of their design and style. So they're a little bit more expensive. Short swords would run you about 10 to 12 gold pieces. Scimitars somewhere between 20 and 30.
I'm more interested in the short sword. Mint's not exactly flashy.
All right. Well, you can get like a nice sturdy standard short sword for 10 gold pieces.
Okay, I think that's easily done. There's probably at least one there that I kind of like.
Yep.
A good balance, good weight.
Yep.
All right, so that'd be about 10?
Yep.
Okay, and handheld crossbows, you said in terms of their make, they can also get to be more expensive as well. So what would the advantage be of getting one that was closer to 100 or more?
Probably just less of a chance of things like the wire or the string breaking, slightly sturdier make, slightly nicer, fancier look. So it'd sort of be a bit of a balance of both of those. You could probably get one for about 80, 85 gold pieces. That's sort of nice and solid and standard without being sort of too fancy.
Okay, so I'll get one that's about 80 if it's got a better chance of not having the spring snap. And
Yep. Yep.
I don't like the idea of shooting my eye out.
No.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. So you have a hand crossbow. And
All right, awesome.
Tor, you're looking for some armor?
Yeah, it's barbarians normally don't wear armor, but Tor is a little tied to his previous image of himself.
Yep.
Which was, of course, wearing armor.
Yep.
So for him, he's looking for a helm, particularly.
Okay. Yeah, you can probably find various sorts of helms. For a dragonborn's head, I'll say they have two. That sort of one is specifically sort of fitted for sort of a dragonborn's head that actually fits on you relatively well, sort of space for the, your horns and that sort of thing. The other one is just sort of a larger one that probably wouldn't fit as well, probably would need a little bit of modification. But yeah.
No, if he'll take the one that fits, that's made for Dragonborn. He thinks it's fortuitous that it was here, depending on the cost, if you can afford it, of course. But
I'm gonna say they don't really have helms in here, but yeah, let's say about 5 gold pieces.
okay, then definitely pick it up.
Mint's a little upset that she didn't get to make fun of them for not having things in the right size, but she's also happy that, she's kind of done shopping. But shopping could have taken longer if they didn't have things in the right size.
Yeah.
I guess we might as well check out that magic shop.
It's right sort of next to you. So number 14 on the map is the Hand of the Mystic, which is a sort of a little niche magic shop if you wanted to stop in.
Sure. Are you up for it, Torroc?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to bring up a bit of information here. All right. So it's a large tent, and you sort of there's a couple heavy flaps that sort of are front. So you sort of pull aside the first one, and there's sort of an inner one as well that you push aside, and the inside is filled with sort of this haze of incense. You can see open shelving, so it's not sort of backed, but you can sort of see through it. So a couple lines of that sort of set up inside here. The center area, there's a large carpet, there's a table, and a tiefling woman sort of sitting there with a crystal ball in front of her. It's like, come in, welcome to the Hand of the Mystic. How can I be of service to you today?
I haven't been here before. What are your recommendations?
What is it you seek? Do you seek divination and knowledge of the future? Or do you seek perhaps some interesting wares that have been collected from across the continent?
You can predict the future?
I am proficient in reading. I have to remember I have that now. One sec. Where did I put that? Yeah. The Deck of Souls. So if you would like a reading from the Deck of Souls, or perhaps some work through my crystal ball, I can see what the spirits might conjure for you.
Torroc, what do you think?
I'm not sure I trust it.
What if I go first?
And how is that better?
Well,
If you wish to do this, maybe I will go first.
I mostly want you to go, because I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mostly want Torroc to get read. Torroc, go ahead. Get a reading. Get a reading.
Torroc visibly just sighs.
So I can do 2 readings from the Deck of Souls. I can do a simple reading, which is 3 cards, or I can do a more elaborate reading, which is 8. Simple reading would cost you 2 silver pieces. The longer reading would cost you 5 silver pieces.
I'll pay for it. Just read him.
Short or long?
Long.
Okay. So what I will need from you is for each card, roll a d10 and a d6. I'll sort of write down the results here, and we'll see what we come up with.
Yeah, let's see if this is right.
All right, so 3.
You good for the first one?
Oh, sorry, 7 and 3.
Yep.
Okay, so okay, that's the suit. So so the first one is the Court of Owls. All right, next.
6 and 4.
4. That is the Chamberlain of Bears. Uh, 4 and 3. That is the Princess of Owls. Okay. 5 and 5. That is the Knight of Ravens.
Last one.
Actually, there'll be 8 total.
Oh, right.
So 8 and 5. That is the Scout of Ravens. Okay.
Mostly birds.
9 and 4. The Warrior of Bears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more. 8 total. 2 and 1. The Queen of Lions.
And last one.
9, 4. You've already rolled 9, 4, so give me another one. 9, 5. That is the Queen of Ravens.
Still mostly birds.
Sorry, no, the Warrior of ravens.
Warrior of ravens? Okay.
All right, now I have to quickly look through what each of these mean. One sec. Okay, so the Court of Owls. So yes, you were once part of a community of great insight, of wisdom and experience, and this community was you are a part of it, and it was all around you, and that it informs who you are today. The Chamberlain of Bears. And who you are today is someone who is at home being the strength of a family. You are the victor, the heart and strength of those who consider you to be their home and who are around you. For the Princess of Owls. And those others aspire to your wisdom and the wisdom that you have sought from the community in the past. They seek the inborn insight that you possess. The Knight of Ravens. And I sense there is with you someone who is perhaps a magic user who is once nobility. I see them as being sort of close to you in your sort of circle, part of that family that you are the core strength of. This individual, I don't have a clear picture of them, but yes, they will be a key figure for you in the short while to come. And that person is seeking something. Wow, you actually rolled this. This is amazing. That person is seeking something of great importance to them at the moment. And perhaps that is something with which you can aid them. I'm not sure, but that's just what I'm getting from this reading. And there might be combat involved. There might be a need for you to be the strength and the warrior, and to fight either for them or for your family in the near future as well. But you must beware of the Queen of Lions. There's hidden power somewhere around your group, a wealth or a person of charisma who is behind the scenes doing something that perhaps you are unaware. So that is something to be wary of. And finally, there will be potentially combat in the future for that noble, that magic user that I spoke of as well. This is what I have seen for who you are and what shall be your course in the near future. There you go.
So how near a future are we talking here? Like days, weeks, months?
That can be hard to tell from a reading, but usually the near future is, I would say, within a week.
Well, you're about to have a fun week there, buddy.
Indeed, it seems so.
So I'm guessing your advice would be for us to stock up on your wares here in order to prepare for said week?
Indeed, I have much of great value that would be of use to you if you are going to be going into such dangerous situations.
We'll think about it, and I put the coins on the table for the reading.
All right.
To Torroc. Torroc, are you buying any of this?
Hey, Torroc just looks at Mint and goes, "There's some truth in the word."
Yeah, but it's very not specific truth. I mean, obviously you're a big, strong guy. obviously you'd be the big strong guy in any group.
So just at a quick look around the shop, there's a couple things that do potentially catch your interest. There are some potions that are sort of out, sort of closer, on the closer shelves, that perhaps could be of use. There's Mint. You catch sight of a really nice looking dagger that you think might be worth investigating.
Shiny
And
pointy thing.
just probably as you're going to, maybe get a bit of a closer look at that dagger, you see two things that seem just really weird. One, sort of next to the dagger, there's a very smooth rock that is labeled as being the Rock of Healing. And over, sort of leaning against one of the shelves, there is a shovel that is just sort of leaning there. And it is a quite nicely made shovel, but it just seems out of place in sort of this mystical, magical place.
Sorry, I'm a NaNoWriMo, and that just tickled me. Anyway, so I point to the shovel and I go, is that an item for sale, or is that something you meant to put away into the shed?
Oh no, that is indeed for sale. That is a magical shovel.
I have never heard of a magical shovel. What does the magical shovel do?
Bring it over and I can inform you as to its qualities.
I'm kind of scared to touch it since it has the moniker magical, but okay. I bring the shovel over to her.
There it is. So she sort of clears away some of the cards, puts them, carefully away, and puts the globe off to one side, and lays the shovel down in front of her. It's like, yes, this is the shovel of jumping. This shovel is very finely made and will allow the user to use the mystical spell known as jump once per day. It can also be used as a weapon.
And any shovel can be used as a weapon. What does jump do?
The jump a spell? I'm really quickly look it up here. Oh, hey, you went right close to it. Jump. You touch a creature, the creature's jump distance is tripled until the spell ends, lasts for 1 minute. So your jumping distance is tripled. You can do that once per day. This is the shovel of jumping.
And if you come down upon your enemy with the shovel after you have jumped, I am certain that would cause a lot of damage.
Indeed, it would. That is a very effective strategy.
Does the shovel provide anything to the person who is now plummeting towards the earth at great speed?
They would have a magical shovel in their hands.
I will think on it. Shall I put it back to where I found it while I am thinking?
Yes, that would be great.
Right, I will do that.
Okay. All
right.
And Torroc's looking around. For him, it's anything that can help him with defense of a group. So whether it's a draw attack or anything defensive that would fit his style.
There is a am I looking at the right one? Shield. Yep. There is a shield that potentially catches your eye. Give me 1 sec. I have to find it on my little list here. There it is. So a good sort of solid round shield. So banded sort of iron, strips across it to reinforce it. And yet in the center of the shield, if it wouldn't be sort of the same thing in that world, but if you're familiar with the sort of the drama masks, sort of the happy and the sad, there's the equivalent of a sad drama mask face written in the, or sort of embossed on the center of the shield.
I ask, what is special about the shield?
Another good eye. Bring that over. So it's in front of her. This This is another mystical item that you have found. Good eye, good eye. This is the Shield of Sorrow. And it allows the one who carries it once per day to give the command to their foes to give up. And if that if the foe is weak enough of will, they will do so.
Interesting.
Would you like to purchase it?
Does it work on individuals or groups?
It would work only on an individual, unfortunately.
I will consider it. How much?
It is on her list 175 gold pieces.
Good to know. Thank you.
All right.
I ask about the smooth stone and the dagger.
All right. So yes, you bring them both over and she takes a look at them. The dagger will aid one who wields it and increase their ability to not only strike a foe, but deal greater damage. It's +1 dagger. And the stone, yes, another good eye. Most people would not think of such a mundane item, but this is the rock of healing. And it can allow a user to throw it as far as they could throw a regular rock at an ally and potentially heal them.
If it doesn't potentially knock them out while you can cut them
well,
with.
yes, there is a bit of a downside to it. I will be very straightforward with you. It could also hurt them.
50-50?
Is it actually 50-50? It might be. Where's the Rock of Healing? Rock of Healing. Yeah, just to give you the full right about. So as a bonus action, you can throw the rock up to 30 feet. On a hit, roll 1d6. On a 2 or higher, the rock heals them for 1 hit point per charge spent. On a 1, the rock inflicts 1 bludgeoning damage per charge spent. You have up to 10 charges per day, and you must decide how many charges you are using before you throw the rock.
So if I were to say charge the rock 3 times and it hit the person, it would damage them 3 times?
So you'd roll the d6. If you roll a 1, they would take 3 points of damage. If you roll a 2 to 6, they would heal them 3 points of damage.
Okay, at least it's not 50-50.
Yep.
But it's still kind of ow.
Yep. However, it is a ranged healing, which is different from at least most potions.
Yeah,
And how much?
The way my luck has been going, I actually think I like the rock. How much is it?
The rock is 190 gold pieces.
Oh, that is so steep.
I might be able to make a deal on that, since I have been very forthright about it does have a bit of a downside.
You said it was 190?
Yep.
Perhaps.
I'm doing in my head calculations on how much health potions are too.
Yeah, so she does have a health potion available. Generally, your sort of basic health potions are about 50-ish gold.
Yeah. And the fact that this can recharge too and stuff, it's actually not a terrible price.
Tor whispers to Mint, get her down to 150 gold. We can split it, 75 each.
You can make a persuasion check.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
All right.
I'm going to roll persuasion.
Sort of an opposed roll here. Let's see what I get.
Because I do not think that...
Can I help with your persuasion?
You may. Are you proficient in persuasion?
I'm checking. I am. I have a +2 in.
Then you may help, and that would give Mint advantage.
Like advantage. All right. Let me see here. And in terms of persuasion, actually, Torroc, did you say that you were proficient in persuasion?
Yes, I have a +2.
You might as well just do this because I am not proficient in persuasion at all.
Okay.
True, but then you would not be able to help him. So you can make a roll with advantage, or he can make a single roll at +2.
Ah, okay. Well, then I will make it roll it with advantage. I see what you were saying. Okay. I am on the wrong screen. Where is the screen I want? No, this is the right screen. Sorry, guys. Okay. There's one.
Nice.
And here's the other one just in case.
All right.
We'll take the first
and,
one.
Yep, no bonus to that, I'm assuming.
No, no bonus.
All right. So 17. So she unfortunately rolled quite well on her sort of opposed check. She's like, well, I can see that you two are in great need, and from the reading, I can understand that you might require something that heals in the next little while. I do have some healing potions. I can give you perhaps a bit of a deal with them if you bought them together with this as well. I wouldn't be able to bring the price down too much, though. I could bring it down to maybe 180. If you bought a healing potion with this together, I could sell them to you for 220.
And you said the healing potions were about 50, right?
Yeah.
$70. I think it's worth it.
Okay.
We can use healing potions too. So
I'm gonna go do the 220.
yeah, do 220. Get a healing potion and the rock of healing.
So that is just a regular healing potion. So it'll be 2d4 plus 2 when used. And the rock of healing again has 10 charges per day, but whether they harm or heal, at least there's a better chance that they'll heal. So
It's 110 gold each.
yep. All right. Anything else you wanted to do while you're out and about?
No, I think Torroc just spent more money than he's seen in his lifetime and is going to call it a day.
I'm feeling that too. I'm exhausted from spending money.
Mint, you know you have a conversation coming up.
Yes.
Did you want to have privacy for that, or were you did you go to your room, have tour there? How were you going to do that?
I'm gonna do it by myself this time around.
Okay. Are you going to kick Tor out of your room? Are you going to let him go up and go somewhere else?
Well, it's his room too, so I mean, if he wants to linger, I think he's lingered in the past.
No, Tor will go down and get some lunch.
It'd be dinner by this point, yeah.
Or dinner, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you're in the room, sort of waiting for the message to come through. And indeed, a voice sort of speaks into your head, the soft and light and melodic voice of Lieutenant Mistweaver, who you communicate with regularly. And the message is as follows. Gathering allies goes well. Contact in Empire tells of secret plans. Something big. Keep ears open. Depending on intel, this may adjust timeline. Report.
I'm looking for where I put the thing. One moment.
Yeah.
It's probably over here. Sorry, Zoom just shrank on me and I have no idea why. All right, there it is. And then I had chat should be open. Did you get what I sent you earlier though, Rob?
Yep.
Oh, did. All right. So I reply back to him. Acquainted halfling Gildy wields bow, carries rifle. Acquainted Goliath Talyn wields magical returning stick. Sending you Malika. Survived Shadow Forest. Shadowfell threat exists abroad.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
And yeah, you can go have dinner with Tor, and
Okay.
otherwise have a good evening. And we'll switch over to, let's do Talyn and Gildy first. So yes, you two are heading out into the Woodside Alley to potentially be do some looking around.
Yep.
Where do you want to go first?
I'm trying to remember the names of the places.
So there's the Clipped Card, the Boneyard, the House of Kinship, and the Wanton Wench.
Clipped Card, Boneyard, Wanted Wench. What was the last one?
The House of Kinship.
And did either of us know if Morgan had a preferred venue,
Yes,
or least preferred venue?
I believe it was mentioned that he did not like dice as much, so the Boneyard is probably less likely for a gambling establishment, whereas the Clipped Card, if he was going gambling, would be preferred.
All right. Do we want to go together?
Gildy considers this, and knowing that, well, she knows that Talyn is, does she know that Talyn is part of the syndicate? I'm assuming she does.
Yes.
Okay. And that things might get a little dangerous. She figures it would be better if they went places together, even if it was a little slower.
Yep.
Okay.
And so this is what she will tell Talyn.
Okay.
All right. Where do you want to go first?
Well, I guess we may as well go to the Clipped Card, since that's the most likely as far as we know.
All right.
Yep.
So you walk in, and it's a sort of a couple levels. There's a bit of sort of an open area around sort of the foyer and some sort of stairs going up to a second level. Underneath that, you can see into sort of a large room with many tables set up. Some are more like sort of, blackjack with sort of a set dealer. Others are more just sort of a group of people sitting around playing cards, that sort of thing. But you were met by sort of several large individuals at the front and a sort of genial-looking elven man who's like, yeah, yes, how can I help you at the Clipped Card this evening? What sort of game would you be looking for?
We're looking for a halfling by the name of Morgan.
A lot of people are looking for a halfling by the name of Morgan.
So we hear.
Interesting. Unfortunately, I do not know the names of everybody who comes in. You can feel free to ask around if you like, although we would ask that if you are going to spend any significant time here, that you would at least indulge in a few of our games.
Can we do an insight check to see if we think he's telling the truth?
Sure. If it's anything like last week, you will have excellent insight.
We were
say that.
We were very insightful last week. Well, Gildy is very insightful. So there we go. Yeah. Talyn.
Okay, then.
It continues. All right.
Yeah.
Talyn, you are 100% certain that this fellow, he does not care about names unless you are like a very specific high roller that he has been sort of told to, treat nicely. He is just here to sort of otherwise greet people and make sure it's sort of the right sort of people that are coming in. Although you're not quite sure what the right sort of people are. But yes, he is telling the truth. He has no idea. Yes, people have been asking about Morgan, and he has no idea who Morgan is.
Okay.
Okay. So Gildy is going to just push a little bit more, though, and she's going to say, well, I suppose they probably weren't going by Morgan when they walked in here. Has there been a halfling in here recently who maybe was spending a little bit more money than it looked like they had?
Well, if there was somebody who was otherwise trying to cheat or, perhaps had some
Not cheat, just
winnings,
flashing more coin than they, by appearance, you would not guess that they had.
He
Quite like
sort of,
that.
looks to the sort of two larger, we'll say one's a half orc and the other one's just a large human behind him. Like, does this sound familiar to either of you? Unfortunately, I do not recall anybody like that.
Hmm.
And yeah, the two other guys are just like, no.
Do you have a back room here?
Oh, private room. Yes, we have several private rooms.
Are any of them busy?
A couple are occupied at the moment, yes. I am unfortunately not able to take you into a private room that is occupied, however, hence the private nature of the room.
Are any of them occupied by a halfling?
That he might have a little bit more insight into. Sort of, seems to sort of be going through a ledger in his mind. There is a halfling woman in one of them.
So Talyn kind of looks at Gildy, kind of like a half shrug, like, maybe?
Gildy kind of responds with a similar sort of gesture, and then to the person at the front, she says, "Thank you for this." And she says, "Is there a bar at which we could get a to play?"
Sorry, you're just looking for a drink?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. On the main floor here, there is a bar that is open. You are able to purchase drinks if you'd like. You're not generally where most people come just for a drink, but we're happy to serve you.
Thank you. And then Gildy leads Talyn over to the bar just so that they can chat.
I think chat, and also a spot that from there, if we can see, like, so I don't know, is it that the private rooms are sort of, the doors are off of this larger area, or is it a, like, down a hallway, down a corner, like another corridor, and then this room's like very private?
Give me, you've probably been in here before. I'm not sure if you'd have been in a private room before, but yeah, you'd have some sense for where they are. So on the main floor, there's some private rooms that are just sort of on the other side of where the main entrance is. So there's the main entrance, the large open room, and then sort of a door at the back to a hallway with several private rooms at the back. There's also several private rooms on the third floor.
Okay. So there's no really good spot that from the bar or from somewhere in the main establishment you can kind of see the rooms that if somebody was... Okay. All right. Well then, yeah. So Talyn's going to follow Gildy to the bar. I'm gonna...
Yeah, she'll pick a seat where they can see as much of the room as they can.
All right. And we shall jump over to Jacob for a moment, because I believe Jacob might have been interested in doing some gambling as well. Yeah, how would you picture that as part of your evening?
So dice games are my style usually. Unfortunately, that's my thing. So just looking to blow off some steam, because yesterday, it was last night that we got back into town, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just looking to go in and get a game going, figure out what games are running, and look to throw some coins around.
You're not as familiar with the city. You haven't been here for sort of a super long time. So probably just sort of as a quick sort of ask around for places to go. If you're specifically asking about dice games, you'd probably be directed to the Boneyard. The Clipped Card is sort of better known in general as sort of a higher end gaming house that has some dice, but is mostly cards.
Yeah, I think we'll go to the higher end one. I'm feeling a little lucky tonight.
All right. You enter. So yeah, you have to sort of leave the main city, the inner city, and out into the Woodside Alley. you enter the clipped card. You were given some rough directions on how to get there. You meet the genial sort of front man. Yeah, if you're probably coming in for, actually, give me a perception check first. Passive perception. All right. Okay. So you don't notice Gildy and Talyn that are sort of otherwise just inside and sort of not necessarily out of view, but sort of not in your direct field of view. And you're directed upstairs. Most of the dicing tables are upstairs. So sort of there's 2 stairways around. And yes, you can go up and join any of the dice games going on up there.
Okay, I'm going to head up and look for, I can't remember the name of, you had mentioned one of the kind of popular games in the area.
Yep, I'm just going to look that up. I have a whole thing. Oh, right, that's not here. That's over here. On gambling. All right. So, yeah, so as a quick reminder, you can use sort of deception, insight, sleight of hand, perception, or your proficiency with a gaming set. So the dice games are Dragon's Teeth and Centurion. Generally, I believe Centurion is played. I don't know. They could both be played sort of as a group. Yeah.
Sure. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to feign a little drunkenness. We'll have a pint of beer in my hand, of course, and ask if there's. So, Jen, what if there's room at the table for someone? I kind of have. I'm flicking a few coins in between my fingers.
Yeah, we'll say you sort of there's a table that could seat 8. And you sort of sit down, taking the last seat there, and like, well, there's no more room now, but you're welcome to join us, sure. And which were you aiming to play, Dragon's Teeth or Centurion?
Centurion.
All right. So that's percentile. Those are D12s. All right. So yeah, quick revision of the rules. So each participant rolls percentile dice. Betting goes around. Each player betting they have the highest number. Players can fold out if they have low dice or if the bet gets too high. There are no re-rolls. Once all bets are in, the dice are revealed and the highest number wins. So betting, each bet has to either call the previous bet or raise it by some amount. Once all players call or fold, the dice are revealed. And again, you can try to cheat if you like. You can try and use a sleight of hand cheat or sleight of hand check to cheat and sort of change your numbers. But people might be able to notice that. Also, you can use your proficiency with a gaming set. All right. So,
Come on, Jacob.
Yeah, we'll do a quick roll.
So I roll D100?
Yep.
And how many people am I against?
There are 7 others at the table. And we'll say that betting starts with person like 3 people to your left. 2 people sort of bet, essentially the minimum amount. So we'll say you went to sort of a higher stakes table, so it's 1 gold each. So they each bet 1 gold. The third person bets 5 gold, and it comes to you.
I'm just going to fold it.
You're going to fold it?
Yep.
All right. Betting goes around. It's the sort of one guy on the other side of you, bets like 15 gold, and that pretty much folds everyone out, and he collects the pot with revealing he's got a 98. So
I'm gonna, while this is going on, I'm gonna kind of make small talk and just to kind of see if there's any good local rumors, things like that, as I play along.
Yeah, give me just a charisma check, I guess. Or investigation. I suppose either of those would work.
Investigation would be better.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a 3. It would be a +6. So that's only a 9.
Okay. So what that means is you're getting some bits of information, but it's also kind of obvious that you're like seeking information. So what sorts of things are you asking about? Just sort of general what's going on in the city?
Yeah, things going on in the city, talking about artificers also, just to gain, to get some information around that. Just I heard some interesting stories about
Artificers?
artificers that went into hiding.
All right. So you sort of talking, again, general stuff in the city, and there's a couple people talking about, lots of interesting people are in the city now, all sorts of like crafters and merchants selling all sorts of things, and you bring up, artificers, and like a couple of them like, oh, that would be, really interesting to have an artificer in the city and get some of their, really interesting, clockwork items or some of their potions, that sort of thing. And then one of the sort of guys, pretty much we'll say sort of opposite you at the table, sort of, perks up like, I'm looking for an artificer. Would you know of one?
Know of one? Well, I don't mean to brag, but I have just gotten back from a very successful adventuring campaign as their chief artificer.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And what's your specialty as an artificer?
I specialize in the alchemy arts.
Very interesting.
Potions, but I do tinker stuff. And as he says that, I have my Rubik's Cube out, flipping it around, and I'm going to make it sparkle a little bit with a little bit of the light cantrips.
We'll say he's the guy that just won the last pot. And he's like, I was just thinking of cashing out relatively soon. I might play one more hand, but I'd be interested in talking with you privately about some of your artificer items.
Absolutely. I do want to say that I have not a lot of renown in this area, but I am fairly renowned with the quality of my goods. But I would absolutely be willing to do some custom work for such a fine gentleman as yourself that plays so deftly a game of Centurion.
Well,
you rolled those dice so well.
All right. Yeah, he says he'll play for sort of one more hand if you're in for another hand, and then maybe he can talk to you.
Sure.
All right. I'm assuming you're just going to fold.
I'm just going to fold this one.
Yeah. All right. He stays in. And this betting sort of goes around for a little bit. Give me a perception check. Wow. Okay.
16.
16. Yeah, that's good enough. You notice one of the other guys seems to be potentially cheating a little bit, sort of, peeks up at, his dice under sort of the, little, cups that they have, and slips his thumb in and just something. Are you going to say anything about it? He's currently sort of battling with the guy that you want to do business with.
Yeah, actually. So as I folded the last one, I'm like, excuse me, you didn't just move something, did you? My eyes and everything, but they are trained very well, and I have these specialty goggles that I can see very well with. Did you, friend? Your name is?
The one you were talking to?
Yeah.
I need to give him a name. Give me half a sec. Here. His name is Philip.
Philip.
You were talking to?
Yeah, yep. Philip. I don't know if you noticed that. Did you see the way his hands moved just there? I mean, when I come into a gambling hall, I expect the utmost integrity in our games of chance, and something about that looked very suspicious. I'm very good with my hands.
Yeah. He's like, I had thought I had noticed something. I'm glad you're corroborating it. But this pretty much instantly sparks up an argument around the table. The guy denies it. Several other people are like, I don't know, I didn't see anything. And eventually some of the sort of larger individuals are called over. The hand is otherwise dispersed back to those sort of, money is not otherwise awarded out and sort of called a broken hand. and the person who is accused of cheating and definitely denies it is asked nicely to leave. And yes, they're furious and they get up and they stomp off.
I just made a new friend.
Yep. All right. Yeah, you go out with Philip. He's like, yes, I'm if I can just sort of, if you want to, follow me back along to where I'm staying, we could have a very good chat about this.
I kind of want to. I don't know what the D&D equivalent. I want to try to sense his motive. This feels just a little okay. Yep. A little too good to be true.
Yep.
Secretly want to roll low. This sounds like a great idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow him back. Yeah, this is a great chance to earn money. How can I pass this up?
You follow him back to what looks to be a relatively. Actually, he takes you into the inner city. No, it's probably you stay in Woodside. A relatively plain-looking building, but looks like it could house a decent amount of people. Gets inside and sort of, ushers you in and follows in behind you. Give me a perception check as you sort of, your eyes adjust to the dimmer light with the candles and lanterns inside.
17.
All right. You notice a whole bunch of people in Mornish army uniforms, and a gun is stuck into your back.
Gentlemen, how can I help you this evening?
We happen to be looking for some artificers, and if you are one, as you say, then we would definitely like to have a talk with you.
My rates are very reasonable, I will mention.
On that note, we will go to our break and be back in, we'll say 5 or 10 minutes and see what happens with Jacob and everything else that's going on in the city at this point in time. So thank you very much, and we'll see you in a moment. Hello and welcome back to the next level. We've got some interesting things going on tonight, so we'll dive right back in. So first, Talyn and Gildy were at the clipped card and maybe noticed something as Jacob left. So we'll give you just a perception check, because you are sort of scanning the room and looking around, seeing what you can notice, to see if you happen to catch Jacob being led out.
There you go, Gildy.
There we go. Yeah, so you definitely sort of, it's actually in the complete opposite direction. It's sort of, over in this side, but you're sort of scanning the room, and you're like, yeah, well, I'll look over here and like, oh, hey, there's Jacob. I'm leaving with some, strapping young human lad of some sort. Yeah. What would you do about that?
Well, assuming Gildy lets Talyn know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talyn would kind of like size him up, and would Talyn recognize this person?
No.
Okay. Based on the way they're leaving, they seem fairly, congenial, happy, just...
Yep.
Do you remember?
At this point, they were friends and quite happy with each other.
All right. We all look very dark on Rob's screen. In that event, I don't think Talyn would do anything about it. He would kind of make a note of it, make note of like what the person looked like. But it's like, well, doesn't know Jacob all that well and wouldn't think too much of it. So it'd probably just kind of like make a note and then go back to scanning the room looking for Morgan.
All right, Gildy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
try an insight
same.
check, but all right.
She'll do, and I'll do an insight check and see if she notices anything strange about this Philip character. She doesn't know his name is Philip, but that guy.
There we go.
We're back.
Yeah, I don't think she really has any insight about that.
It was nice knowing you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck,
It's going
Jake.
to be fun. Okay.
Rock
So-
bottom prices. That'll save you.
Yeah, we will come back to Jacob in just a moment. Right now, we're going to switch over and talk to Leone for a moment. So, evening is settling in.
Mm-hmm.
Leone, you are sort of expecting a visit from somebody who will be named Misty, but could be in sort of any number of different forms. Are you waiting in your room at the Minstrel's Muse?
No, I mean, I guess I'll wait in the common area, and then if I, kind of get a sign from someone,
It was specifically you were told they would meet you in your room.
then yes,
Yeah.
I guess
okay.
I'm in my room.
All right. So yeah, you're sort of waiting in a room and sort of looking over at the door and, expecting someone to arrive. Your window opens up and sort of, shutters open and sort of so the window is, slid open, a little dagger underneath, and a spry, sort of smallish stature half elf sort of vaults into the room and says, "Hello. I hear you have enlisted my services. I am Misty."
Yes, that is quite an entrance you make.
I am adept at getting into any number of places.
I see. Good to know.
So, you have lost something of great value to you, I hear?
Oh, no, I didn't lose it. It was stolen.
Right, yes. Well, this is a little out of my usual wheelhouse, but I am certain that I could get this item back for you. My fee, however, can be a little steep.
How steep are we talking?
I was led to believe this was a pouch or a bag of some sort that might contain some valuables.
Yes.
Does it contain some otherwise monetary valuables, gold, silver, gems, that sort of thing?
It does.
Okay. I don't care what else might be in it, but I would want half of whatever the monetary value is that is in the bag for the finder's fee.
I would suggest that if you recover 100% of the items, then I'm more than happy to provide you with 50% of the monetary value. However, depending on the percentage of items that are missing, that would certainly impact my willingness to part with any kind of monetary percentage.
No, that's fair.
So if you can agree with that, and I give you my word that I will treat you justly in this regard. So I will not swindle you in any way, and if you recover all of the items, I will happily pay you half of the monetary value that I have within.
Then it's a deal. I will check in with you this time tomorrow and either return the item or let you know what I have found.
Well, hopefully we'll be returning the item.
And they exit the way they came in, out the window and out into the night.
Okay.
And what do you do after that?
I mean, how late in the evening is it?
It's still sort of early evening-ish. It's like just, it's still sort of twilight, dark out.
I think that Leone had some time to kind of start to wonder, like, am I making the right choice here? And like, maybe I should talk to someone from here to get a second opinion. So I'm going to go look for Gildy.
Okay.
That's what I was wanting to do, but then I had to wait in my room. So I'm like, oh no, I'm stuck here.
Open the door to your room and are sort of about to step out when a halfling out in the hallway, just at the side of your door, sort of standing there about to knock. Like, oh, hello, hello. Are you the one who lost the item that you are looking for?
Yes, yes, I am. Does this halfling look familiar?
Yes. This halfling looks like one of the ones you described to the constables.
I see.
The one you described to the constables, yep.
So then I hold out my hand as like you can return it to me now.
He's like, oh, I know. Yes.
Like I don't say that, but my gesture is like, oh, you're coming to give it back to me?
Well, yes, you see, I found this after some half-elf stole it from you. I followed them and saw them. Unfortunately, I only caught up to them as they liberated, apparently, all of the, I'm guessing, the coin from it. But they left the rest of the bag, and I took that and heard you were looking for it, and sort of pulls it out. I was like, and here it is, your bag returned to you, for free of charge.
Oh, that should be a +2. Well, it's a total of 9, so I believe them wholeheartedly.
Well, let's see what they roll. All right. Yeah, as far as you believe, it was stolen by the half-elf, who was the other one that was mentioned by the constables.
Yeah.
Yes, otherwise this halfling seems to be returning your items that they took from the half-elf.
Oh, okay. So I take it all of my coins are gone, all of my gold, my silver, but everything else is still there?
Everything else is in there.
Wow. And the fancy coins are gone too?
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, that thing like, well, it was very nice to meet you, but there's no more need to be looking for your items. So there you are. I'm glad I could help.
Well, thank you very much.
And he sort of, well, they sort of stand there for a moment, like, well, it is a pleasure to have met you. I will go now.
Should you need the assistance of a wizard, please do not hesitate to come and ask for my assistance by way of reward. I would offer you a financial reward. However, that's not possible.
They get about 2 steps down the hall and hear wizard and immediately snap back like, you're a wizard?
I am. You couldn't tell?
Yeah, well, some people, it's harder to tell than others. But if you are a wizard, that is really good. I am in need of a wizard. I need someone who can otherwise teleport or get me out of the city.
I see. Well, yes, I can get you out of the city.
I might be willing to pay for that service. I had honestly been waiting for another wizard that I was hoping to contact, but they were quite busy. They are quite powerful, and I had not yet heard back from them. But I had been willing to pay a significant amount for getting me out of the city. Maybe I could even try and find your lost coin for you.
Yes, that sounds acceptable. If you can find my lost coins, I can certainly get you out of the city.
And what would you use to do that? Just so I'm clear on the deal.
Wow. A wizard never reveals their methods.
A teleportation circle, or perhaps a full teleportation spell, or a plane shift of some sort. Oh, I'd like to visit a different plane. That would be very interesting.
No, actually, I was planning a much more mundane fashion, but equally as successful.
Oh, in what sense?
Well, you see, you're rather small, and I have this bag of holding.
Oh.
So I would just walk out of town with you in the bag of holding, and then once we're past where the guards could see or anyone, you could just hop out and carry on.
That could work. That could
My
work.
understanding of a bag of holding is there's really no air or like
There are 10 minutes of air in a bag of holding.
There are 10 minutes. So it's very much a meet near the exit, get out on the other side. But it works.
A bag of holding with straw.
I am a very adept at finding lost items, so I may be back before the night is through for your aid in getting me. Could you get a friend of mine out of the city as well?
If the friend of yours is a halfling, I could certainly get them out in the same way.
And if they were a half orc, perhaps?
Let me think on it. Because not only am I a wizard, but I'm brilliant as well. I'm sure we can come up with something.
I will return as soon as I have liberated your funds from that devilish half-elf, and I will be eager to hear what you have planned.
Excellent, thank you. And so did you wish to meet then? You said you might be able to do this evening?
Oh, yes. Yes, I feel very strongly that I can have your funds returned to you by no later than perhaps the midnight call of the watch.
All right. Well, if you can find the 42 ancient copper coins, that would be, in addition to my funds, that would be excellent.
Oh, I believe when I saw the half-elf taking the coins out of the pouch that there was something like that it was included. I will be sure to get those from her as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
I will be back.
All right.
They run off.
Okay. Then I guess I stay here because they're waiting for me. Because they're coming back here. I was going to go try and join up with the team, but
all right.
Nope. Just going to stay here then. And I guess now, since I don't have to wait in my room, I'm going to go downstairs. And it was Rindle.
Yep.
Rindle was the one who connected me with
Misty.
So then I will go let Rindle know that Misty's services are no longer required because my items have been returned to me.
Yeah, and at this point, Rindle's like, if you have already met with Misty, then I would just let her know directly.
All right, I just didn't know if you had a way in which to let her know, then she wasn't wasting her time.
She is generally difficult to get a hold of. If you have a set contact with her, that would probably be easiest.
Okay, I just did not wish to waste her time.
That is fair. And as you're in the common room of the Minstrel's Muse, you notice a familiar human that you have seen come in before. This is the bard that has played several times.
Okay.
Coming in and starting to set up, accompanied by another human in sort of strange garb that is a little less familiar to you. And around that time, there is another group that enters.
So for the record, from now on, I am keeping my distance from other people. I am keeping my hand on my bag of holding, and I am keeping my distance from other people. And if there is a crowd of people that I have to pass through, I will wait until they disperse.
That's just safe at all times now.
Yes. I am now completely paranoid about having my things stolen.
Yep. All right. So, yes, there is a... So you see a group enter. Oh, there we are. It's up there.
And I'm potentially taking note of the faces of all of the people who I interact with or are in my near proximity so that I can provide detailed descriptions to the authorities if anything goes missing.
Yep.
Like seriously, totally paranoid now.
One is it seems to be sort of the leader of the group, is this very sort of arrogant elf, sort of very much, you know, a swagger to their walk. Yeah, sort of, you get the sense that they're used to sort of people getting out of their way and otherwise sort of giving them their way. There's two, 4 sort of larger, sort of human half-orcs that are accompanying them, along with 1 smaller half-elf, and a curiosity that you have probably seen before. Although you've never seen one of this variety. At first you think it might be a dragonborn, but you very quickly correct yourself. You've seen enough in your years. This is a half-dragon. That is like very much the half-red dragon. So like, very noticeable, very dangerous looking, and yeah, sort of seems to be the last in, and otherwise sort of keeping an eye on things as this group very clearly comes in and very clearly starts to look around.
Okay.
All right.
So they look kind of threatening, like they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
like friendly, happy people.
Yeah. The elf looks like he might be at home in an establishment like this. All of the rest of them seem a little out of place.
Oh.
And with that, we will get back to, well, I was going to do this for a different reason, but I think I will do it now anyway. So Mint and Tor. It's early evening, but I'm assuming you were probably just retiring for the evening, no big plans?
Oh, exhausted after shopping.
Yeah.
And a little more broke.
Yeah. So Tor, you up in your room, you've had a nice dinner, are sort of, not necessarily ready for sleep, but you sort of lay back on your mattress. It's a little small. And you seem to just doze a little bit. And almost instantly, the sort of darkness becomes a night's sky. Sort of stars that you, as if you're sort of laying back on some sort of field of grass. It's stars spangled all above you. A beautiful sort of night's sky. And then there's this figure, this very sort of elven, but to the extreme, a very fey-looking woman with sort of extremely sort of elongated ears and sort of hair that sort of flows about her. Skin is dark, the hair is raven black, and sort of, comes to stand over you and looks down at you. And she, even though you're not sure you've seen her before, is vaguely familiar to you. And she says to you, "It has been a long time, Torroc. And I am coming to you now to let you know that some of your friends, your recent companions, may be in danger. I think perhaps you should go help them." And that is it. You wake up, and she is gone.
And Tor would immediately, does Tor have an idea of where or anything else, or just trouble?
So your the stuffy that you carry with you, you get a sense that it could potentially lead you to where you need to go.
So Tor grabs his weapons, literally grabs Mint on the shoulder and goes, "We have to go now."
Okay, I start gathering up my stuff. I'm trained well enough to get equipped rather quickly.
Yep.
So I'm getting my armor on.
All right. And yes, you follow Tor out into the growing night. Tor with probably axe in one hand and stuffy in the other, sort of feeling the direction that it wants to go, leads you sort of south and then out of the city into the woodside alley, and we'll pick up with you in just a moment. Talyn and Gildy, you're still looking around. It's been a fair bit of time. You've had a drink or two. Nothing seems to have come up that's really struck you as sort of obvious. Nobody's looks like Morgan. You've probably done a little bit of asking around and not gotten a whole lot of great information. What would you like to do?
Talyn says to Gildy, if you want to check somewhere else, I have another idea of where to look. I can come and find you.
Okay. Gildy's a little perplexed by that. But she says, you're right. They definitely don't seem to be here. You go look. I'll look at the next gambling place. Is there a better word for that? Gambling house.
Yeah. So the closest of the 4 other places that have been mentioned would actually be the Wanton Wench, or the House of Kinship. The Boneyard is actually pretty much across the other side of the alley at this point. So, but yes, you could check either of those locations or go to the Boneyard.
Having not found Morgan in the place that she thought they would most likely be, she's like, maybe I'll go look where they would least likely be. And so I think that she will go and cross over a little further to the Boneyard.
All right. And Talyn, where are you headed?
Talyn has considered that maybe his friend Carl, who I'm not sure what everyone else knows. Well,
nobody else knows anything about Carl.
Well, yes.
I'm looking forward to Carl.
Carl is a friend of Talyn's, who's kind of almost the first person that Talyn met when he came here. Not that people know that. But Talyn's going to go see if we can find Carl, because Carl would also know Morgan, and see if they know, if Carl knows where they are.
All right. There's several locations around the town where you know Carl hangs out, and one of them, we'll say, is relatively close by. So you sort of part ways with Gildy, move sort of a little bit in the opposite direction, find a sort of the alley that you think Carl might like to hang out in, and you can ask for Carl.
I will approach the alley, kind of look around, make sure there's no one else around.
Give me a perception check.
16.
Yep, there's a couple people sort of on the sort of the main street, not that far away, but they just seem to be sort of walking along, minding their own business. If you wait a moment, they'll be gone.
Okay. When it seems like they're definitely not paying attention, and it seems sort of safe to do so, even in like a whispered tone, Talyn was kind of whisper, Carl.
And you hear back, Talyn. And yes, one of the barrels at sort of the opening to the alley pops open an eye.
Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, how you doing? It's been a long time.
It's been an interesting week. Went with Gildy on a trip out to the forest. It was not a safe place.
Yeah, never been to a forest. That sounds dangerous.
Yes, it's I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I don't recommend dungeons. I spent most of my early life in dungeons, and all sorts of adventures come in and try and kill you. You gotta keep hiding. Really sucks.
Yeah. Listen, when I came back, I went and spoke with Mordai.
Oh, yeah?
And Mordai indicated that Morgan was in trouble, and I've been looking for Morgan, and I cannot find him.
I've been hearing about Morgan a lot, actually. But I'll be honest, I've been in most of the alleys hanging out, and mostly what I'm hearing is people looking for Morgan. Haven't seen Morgan. Haven't heard anybody saying they're finding Morgan. I don't think they're anywhere in the alleys.
Do you have any idea where they've looked and maybe where they haven't yet looked?
Like the people looking?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's the syndicate, so I have no clue, but they've probably looked a lot of places. Probably almost certainly looked, Morgan's home and around that area. I know they've scoured the syndicate base down, below, and probably going through the alleys fairly rigorously as well. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to keep looking, but if you hear anything,
yeah,
I'll check in with you and let me know.
Yeah.
I'm
Seriously, I think they might be in the inner city somewhere. Unfortunately, I can't get in there, so I don't know.
All right. I appreciate the tip. I'll check there. But,
Here we go. Here's somebody you can check with. Are you familiar with Claus Doc?
No.
I'm
assuming no.
Yeah, you've probably heard the name before. It's come up in the syndicate now and then, but you don't really know who they are or sort of what they do. It's like, yeah, so, okay, I think a long time ago, I heard Morgan was friends with Claus Doc. So Claus Doc, right? So they're the master tunneler.
Okay.
So they've got all sorts of like tunnels going like underneath the city. So yeah, maybe Morgan talked to them and got in or out somehow. But yeah, you could try them. But they're down in tunnels or down in the syndicate base. I don't know how else you get a hold of them.
Before I ask the dumb question, how familiar is Talyn, or is he familiar with getting into the tunnels?
You know of some tunnels because the syndicate that's pretty much one of their major things is smuggling.
Yep.
So you know of some tunnels that sort of can get people in and around various parts of the city.
Yep.
But probably only like a few, some that sort of if you go down into the sewers here, there's a tunnel that sort of attaches to this other location. So ways to sort of escape cops if you need to do that sort of thing. But yeah, you definitely know where the syndicate base is. There's a bunch of tunnels that sort of end there, but they tend to be sort of very well guarded. And there's sort of another sort of more mundane way into the base as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Talyn says, do you know where I could find Claus Doc?
I mean, probably the syndicate base is the first place to start looking. I know they sort of have a place there. They rest there. Their shop is there. They tinker a lot. So, yeah, try that.
All right. I think I'll check the inner city first.
Okay.
But if I don't see him there, I'll try to find this Claus Doc.
All right. Hey, good to see you.
You too. I appreciate the help, Carl. You're a good friend.
You too. You too. Don't run afoul of any adventures and get yourself killed.
I'll try not to.
All right. All right. And we will switch over to Jacob. All right. So Jacob, you find yourself in a room. There are 6 people in the room other than you. One of them is Philip behind you with the gun in your back. They're sort of varying, all sort of human, Golgath, maybe a half-elf, but yeah, all in sort of Mornish Empire uniforms or sort of various bits of one. They might have been sort of just changing into or out of one. It seems to be sort of their base, their sort of barracks that it seems to be temporary. Like you can see, it's not like well set up. There's big packs and things that are sort of around and sort of half unpacked. Yeah, and Philip behind you is like, we have been looking a long time for artificers of any sort. Very glad to have found you, and hoping that you will come with us willingly. And as you hear his voice, you have a memory.
Oh boy.
You are cowering in fear. You can see the area around you is that the temple ruins that you found yourself in. It is night. I think you've had a memory like this before, and you do sense sort of that there's a presence that you can't see there with you. But this voice is what's triggering it. This voice you can hear in the distance. You're not looking in the right direction. They're maybe behind you, but they are commanding, they are, calling out, and speaking to someone. And very quickly, there's another voice you hear that's sort of higher pitched, and even that sort of sparks a bit of a memory of, this could be Zanfal, your mentor. And you hear again both voices arguing, and then there's the sounds of combat and gunfire and a presence, the presence that's sort of nearby you from the darkness, sort of reaches over to you and says, "This is not for you to remember." And that's where you come back.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yes, you have sort of met this fellow before.
But more kind of not like getting to know,
Yeah.
just...
Yeah, he doesn't seem to recognize you as knowing you from any place in particular.
So, what brings the Mornish Empire down to this small neck of the woods?
You do. We are specifically looking for artificers. We are always on the lookout for artificers who, of any note, who can help us to create more engines and weapons of war for the Empire.
Well, I do have a stall, and we're open tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I would be happy to discuss terms of our arrangement then.
Well, then tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we will go and we will gather all of your things from your stall, and we will leave the city and head back to the Empire. How does that sound?
Well, I would, as much as I would love to. I am currently tasked with protecting the city from the evils in the Shadow Forest.
Very intriguing. I don't care.
Well then, I don't seem I have too much of a choice here, do I?
I'm glad you're getting the hang of this. And he sort of points to a bed that's sort of just, bare nearby. It's like, I suggest you get some sleep. I suggest you don't do anything stupid. We have many people here who are trained in various different ways to keep you from escaping. So relax, get some sleep, and in the morning we'll go get your things and we'll head back to the Empire.
Well, all right then. I'm gonna.
Right.
I am doing a kind of a scan of the room to see what exits are here.
Yep. Give me a perception check. You can see it fairly clearly, but we'll see sort of what else you might see as well. All right. So there's very clearly the exit behind you. Again, it's sort of dimly lit with a bunch of sort of candles and lanterns set up. There's a door on the far end, sort of a long hall with sort of beds on either side. It probably could fit about 20 people, so like 10 beds down each side. Not all of them are being used. As I said, I think there's only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 sort of other people there with you. There are windows. They're relatively small. You think maybe if you broke one, you could probably fit through one, but they're otherwise just sort of glassed in, don't sort of open up sort of windows, let in light, but not sort of much air. And above them, there seems to be sort of shutters that potentially could open to sort of let in a sort of a higher end breeze as well. That's pretty much what you notice in sort of the dim light that's around you.
Okay.
All right. And I'm assuming for the moment you will relax on the bed and otherwise sort of follow their instructions.
Yeah. How many people stay in the room with me?
All of them.
Well, okay then.
Yeah,
This is
once
gonna-
they've got you, they are just like, yep, we're good. And so you get, actually give me an insight check as sort of they settle down and sort of there's some banter going on.
16.
Okay, yeah, so you definitely get the sense of sort of the hierarchy and the relationship here, and so who some of these people are. So the fellow who brought you in, people refer to as captain. He seems to be the leader. There is two others that are sort of probably considered, you're not quite sure who's sort of higher in the ranks there, but they're pretty much probably both just below the leader. One you guess is a wizard of some sort. The other one seems to be a cleric of some sort. Two sort of big bruiser guys who seem like, just solid fighters, sort of on the next level down. And on the bottom is sort of the small half-elf woman who is, you get the sense, probably some sort of thief or scout or something that can, otherwise get around to places relatively easily and sort of very observant. All right. All right.
Okay.
Back to Torroc. Torroc, you actually, before I do this correctly, you get to, so you sort of go south from the Napping Gnome down sort of one of the avenues across a bridge, and you get to an intersection, and the stuffy in your hand seems a bit sort of tossed up for a moment. And you remember, of course, that Leone is up not that far from where you are now at the Minstrel's Muse, just a little bit up sort of the street that way. And it seems like maybe the stuffy wants to take you that way, but actually mostly it wants to go the other way. What do you do?
So I look at Torroc would look at Mint and go, it seems there's two possible directions, mostly that way, but also towards where Leone is.
Well, we know Leone is there. Do we know what's in that direction?
No, and that concerns me.
I think maybe with the sense of urgency that you have to kind of rally up the group, it didn't dissuade us from getting Leone. I'd be very happy to have some magic at our back.
Reasonable.
If we start heading towards Leone and it starts really pulling us back in the other direction, then we know we've made a wrong move.
All right.
So
Torroc agrees.
All right. So yeah, you head up, not that far up the road, to the Minstrel's Muse. You get inside. Leone is in the common room, not that far away, easy to spot. And you can go over and have a chat with him.
Yeah, I rush up to Leone, and Torroc's got a really bad feeling. Something is going on right now. Someone from our group is in danger. We found you in good health, so it's probably Jacob. We need your assistance. Are you ready to just dash out with us right now? Or do you need a minute?
Well, yes, I can. I need to be back shortly to recover some things.
And for the Torroc looks down and goes, for the record, it was a vision. It's magic. There's trouble. We should go now.
Well, thank you for the specifics. Well, I guess it's not that late, but we gotta hurry. We gotta go.
All right. Yes, of course.
Right. Yes, as long as you're back before midnight, hopefully you'll be okay. So yes, you leave.
Now, what direction are we going?
South.
Okay. Are we going anywhere near the House of Wands?
That would be out of the way. That would be sort of east and then south and then, yeah.
Check.
Sorry, west and then south, yeah.
Just checking if we're going by. Because if we're going by, I would try and do the shopping that I was trying to do this morning when I headed out.
No time to do shopping.
Not gotten to do yet.
No time
If we're not headed anywhere near there, I don't bring it up. I just go.
All right. So yes, you guys.
You are very important.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
south out of the city. You exit the south gate into Woodside Alley. You come to sort of an intersection of sort of the main road of Woodside Alley. And I'm just going to be sort of really coincidental here and say that you happen to run into Gildy as she's sort of crossing by in front of you.
Okay, so Gildy, we could use your help.
Yeah, because Torroc isn't subtle at all.
No.
There's a dragonborn with an axe drawn with his stuffed toy that he carries around with a dragon
Like
in front
a
of him.
dusting rod.
Gildy's a little startled by this, but she says, "Oh, what help do you need?"
I'm assuming we can see Talyn too, right?
No, Talon's not there. Or is he?
actually,
Talon's not with Gildy right now.
No,
Oh,
but if you
okay.
make a perception check.
Okay. Perception check.
But basically, Talon's like, one of our number is in danger. We're trying to figure out who.
And since you seem all right, it's gotta either be you or
Talon or Jacob.
yeah.
Okay, so Gildy is a little bit torn.
And +2 would be 15.
Not great lighting in the alleys, but there's some lights here and there. And 15 is just good enough that you think like way down the road, sort of the way Gildy just was coming from. Maybe there's someone that might be like, there's a big figure. So maybe that's Talyn. Not a lot of big people that size around. They're a good distance sort of down the road that way.
I activate my lesser boots of speed and I dash right up to Talyn, Talyn-like person. And then if it is him, I fill him in and tell him to come back with me to the main party.
Okay. Give me a sec. Yeah, so we'll say Talyn, Mint comes up to you just as you're finishing your conversation with Carl. It's like, hey, we need help.
We think that Jacob is in trouble.
Trouble? I just saw Jacob less than an hour ago.
Who was he with? Was he alone?
He was with some man. Didn't recognize him.
Okay, it takes sometimes only 5 seconds to get into trouble if you're Jacob, so just come with us. We got to get him out of whatever he's gotten himself into.
Talyn just like takes a moment, nods, and kind of indicates he will follow wherever you're going.
Okay.
Not as quickly.
Well, actually, yeah. What's your speed?
Talyn's speed is
5.
That's right. So slow. I think it's 40, but let me
40,
check.
yeah.
It is 40.
Yeah. So if you do
My speed is 30, so I can only double up to 60.
No, your speed right now, if you're just running full out, is 90.
Oh, wow.
Because you get a bonus dash action plus your move, plus you can use your action to also move. So that's 3 times 30.
Nice.
Talyn can go 80, which is right behind you. So he's not that much slower.
Okay, awesome.
All right. So yes, you 3 rounds later catch up. So you've used 6 rounds of your boots of speed. And yeah, you are being directed by the Stuffy to go in the opposite direction down this alley a little bit of ways.
Yeah. Rob, I did send you a message.
Oh, yeah.
And once the group is together, so we are actually following this Stuffy, like he's holding it out and orienting by it. Okay. Then once the group is all together, then I'm going to ask, do we have any other information other than Jacob is in trouble? Do we know anything about what we're going into?
No.
No, I had a vision of a elven-like angelic being telling me he's in trouble. And I had felt trust, and this is not a child's Stuffy. I trust it.
It's not a child's Stuffy, you say?
No.
I see.
That's a longer story. But believe me, I would put my life in its hand.
If you look at Talyn, he looks skeptical of what you're saying, but he trusts you.
Yeah.
Gildy's kind of skeptical because Gildy's like, I am doing an important thing right now that I know is real. But she also knows that she has no luck right now finding Morgan and is just kind of like guessing at this point. And so she says, okay, I can come and help for a time, but I can't leave the city. I'm trying to find my kid. They've gone missing.
And just to help alleviate, or in Torroc's mind, to help alleviate, Torroc casts Detect Magic while holding the stuffy. So Torroc starts to glow. The color to the type of magic that the stuffy contains, as a way to kind of show.
Yeah, to that essence, if magic has a color, if the different sort of schools of magic have a color, you are a rainbow right now.
Shiny.
Yep.
Oh yes, the stuffy is quite magical. Gildy, is your child's name perhaps Morgan?
So Gildy's like,
All right. Well, hopefully we can get this in.
where they are?
Well, they will be meeting me in a few hours, so as long as we can get back to my room within the next few hours, then they should come to us. Oh, and then I'm going to help them get out of town.
Gildy's just like,
It's just looking from Leone to Gildy to Leone to Gildy.
Gildy also.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Morgan needs to get out. Am I not connected?
You're
Hello, can you hear me? Yes? No?
We
Sort
can
of.
sort of hear you.
Oh no.
Oh, there we go.
the oh no is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it
The
is
audio's
it better?
good.
Mine
Audio's
just
good.
stuttered.
Yeah. Just a bit of stuff.
This is a lot of so she's just kind of
Oh no.
It's cutting in and out.
We're not hearing that. Gildy is speechless.
I'm pretty sure she said she was more than willing to come with us to help rescue me.
Yes.
That's what I got out of that.
I'm sorry. Am I back now?
Yes.
Yes.
Better?
Yep. All right.
Better.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. So we will go rescue Jacob, and then we'll go rescue Morgan. All right. So yes, you follow the stuffy.
And
these
now
two-
the techno-colored dragonborn.
Yes. It leads you across a bridge and past sort of a couple buildings, but then sort of up to the left and sort of through some alleys to a sort of a long, low building. And yeah, it sort of stops doing its thing at that point, and the magic sort of fades away from you.
Okay. So what does that mean? Torroc?
Oh, sorry, Rob, you broke up. I didn't hear the last bit.
Oh, sorry. The stuffy stops doing its thing. The magic fades away, and you are otherwise left sort of just facing this sort of low, squat building.
I suspect he's inside. This is the end of the trail.
Okay, we need to figure out what's going on inside this building without them realizing we're looking into the building. It's possible Jacob's here alone. It's possible there's others.
There are windows. They're a little bit sort of higher up than usual, but yeah.
Am I too short?
Yeah, Talyn on tiptoes or you on tour could probably peek into it fairly easily.
All right. Torroc picks up Mint.
Yeah. And Talyn will look in another window.
Yeah. Give me both stealth checks just to sort of peer in without arousing too much suspicion.
I'm at disadvantage because of my armor, but I still get a bonus. So hopefully that helps.
Okay.
21.
Rob, can you describe the rest of the building?
Sure. Low, squarish, sort of single story. Seems to be sort of a door on sort of the short end.
6.
Windows along the sides, and you're not quite sure what's on the other end. You can't sort of see around it.
Okay, but it's one story?
Yeah.
No reason to think that there would be access from the roof, correct?
Not quite sure. Probably not.
Okay. Yeah, no reason to think there would be. There could be for some strange reason, but no reason to think, oh, there's probably a way in from the ceiling.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. So Mint, it is dark inside. You're sort of a little precarious on top of Tor. There's people inside. There's some light sources inside. But sort of the window you're at just doesn't have like a good sort of angle for you to get in things with sort of the awkwardness that you're at. So yeah, not a good check. Talyn, was yours the 21 or did you roll?
21, yeah.
All right. You sort of have a nice sort of level vantage point. Actually, this was more your stealth check, not your perception check. So yes, you seem to sort of have a good stable position that you're at, whereas Mint is sort of like flailing around and like grabbing the window. All right. Sorry. Now you can make a perception check to see sort of what you see inside and how much you see.
22.
Yep. And Mint.
Oh, for what I'm actually seeing now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apologies. I forgot that was just your stealth roll.
Yeah, it's okay. I could have just gone ahead and rolled the other one right away anyways.
Okay.
All right. Boop, 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 roll. I have no luck today.
Wow.
It's too blurry because I'm shifting too much.
Pretty much what I described last time because you're shifting around too much. Talyn, you have a nice view of things. You can see 7 people inside.
Mhm.
One of them is Jacob, who's reclining on a bed, probably like 2 in from where the door is, but there's a good amount of people sort of between Jacob and the door. Also a good amount of people on the other side, probably 3 and 3, sort of relatively balanced. These people look, number one, like they are a team. They know how to work together. They are in various bits of Mornish Empire uniforms. And yeah, they look like they could be trouble. They look like they know what they're doing. And yeah, are probably a military unit of some sort.
How many of these people do I see?
6 and Jacob.
6 and Jacob, okay.
You also notice one of them, sort of looking over and pointing at the window where Mint is looking in.
Talyn will try to, surreptitiously kind of like lower himself so he doesn't draw attention to himself, and looking over at where Torroc and Mint are, it just kind of like like gesturing down.
And Tor just squats.
What are you doing? I can't see anymore.
And yeah, you could all hear sort of a little bit of hubbub from inside before that goes silent.
Talyn's just like kind of gets himself right up against the window.
Jacob, give me a
or the
perception
wall.
check. Oh yeah, you definitely see Mint, sort of the window across the way, like flailing around, like ah!
Stealthy.
Yeah, so you are aware that Mint is somehow floating really high up in the air outside somewhere.
Turns out stealth bonuses do not stack, literally. We just proved that.
Yes. All right. Jacob, what you see? Yeah, sort of, the leader sort of makes a motion. Everyone goes quiet. And then they start pretty much reacting on instinct. So one of the big guys comes over and just sort of, sits next to you, sort of like eyes on you, not doing anything else. The other ones are sort of all in motion. There's like stacking some, actually people can probably hear this now. They're like moving some beds around, sort of putting them in front of the door, getting out weapons, like nice looking pistols and rifles, and sort of scanning the windows around, and otherwise seeming like they are preparing for an attack or siege of some sort.
Two questions I have. So did I notice the person, Philip, although Talyn doesn't know who that is.
Yeah.
Did I notice Philip as one of the people inside?
Yes,
And
yes.
two, was the level of the floor, like, is the door, like the windows that I can just make my way to kind of see in,
Yeah.
would it be the same level windows on the inside, or was there like stairs going up and they would actually be like a few feet higher, and would they be able to look out the windows without assistance?
No, the windows are high, even on the inside. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're roughly on the same level they are, sort of in terms of what
Yep.
the floor is. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can all hear furniture being moved around. There doesn't seem to be a lot of like speaking that's directing this. But yeah, it definitely seems like people inside are potentially aware that you're there or that their trouble is happening soon.
All right.
What would you like to do?
Talyn will kind of creep over to where Mint and Tor are, and just kind of says, like, I think they've heard us. Go let them know at the front. I'm going to see if there's a way in the back.
But who know what in the front?
Tor just nods, and Mint walks off with Mint still on his shoulders.
All right.
So you start making your way around to the back. You guys come up to sort of everyone else who's sort of waiting around the front.
And I let Mint back. Tor lets Mint back down. It's like they know we're here.
Okay.
Because of your feet. You're too loud when you stomp.
So sorry, Talyn has gone around back.
Yep.
Yep.
Tor has told us that they know that we're here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Then I'm asking, like, how many are there? What do we know? What is in? Did you see what was inside, Mint? You said what is inside?
I couldn't see much. There's a large group of them, but otherwise everything was blurry.
Sounds like Jacob is here, and Talon's going to try to sneak in, but there's a number of them, and they're preparing.
They know we're here. His feet.
To try to sneak in to a small building full of a large group of people.
I think if anyone can do it, it would be him. All in black at night.
Did I notice kind of the other people looking into the window? Am I aware of? Oh, I can tell that they're getting ready for a fight, right?
And you saw Mint, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw Mint. You did not see Talyn looking in. Just Mint. Yeah.
So, and Talyn has wandered off.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of with little knickknacks I assume I have on me. I'm going to touch one of them for my magical tinkering ability.
Okay.
I'm going to tinker it to emit the sound of someone trying to bang in a wall in a window, like you can hear cracking sounds in that, and kind of toss it into the opposite corner.
Okay.
So that it's the sound I'm going for. It sounds like someone's trying to break in from that side from the opposite side of the room.
All right. There is a guy who's keeping a pretty good eye on you. Give me a stealth check to see how easily you can pull that.
Do better than me.
I have disadvantage.
Oh, no.
Maybe I should get. Oh, okay, so first roll, second roll. Nope.
Oh,
21 and 5, so it's a 5.
okay, give me 1 sec.
Do you have disadvantage because you're being watched? Or why?
No,
Yeah,
because I'm in scale mail.
Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, the 5 is fairly obvious. Like as soon as you pretty much try and, tinker with something off to the side here, they just shake their head and sort of motion for you to hand over whatever you're working with.
Okay, I toss it to them.
Yep.
How far away are we from the front door?
Probably 15, 20 feet.
Okay, and we've heard they have now put stuff up against this door. They don't sound like they're coming out. They sound like they're more barricading
They're
themselves
barricading themselves in. Yeah, you heard things being moved around and probably some sort of crunching and crashing. You can assume that that's what they're doing is sort of barricading the door and that sort of thing.
Okay, then I'm going to approach to within 10 feet of the door.
Yep.
I'm going to cast Prestidigitation
Okay.
to make a symbol appear on the inside of the door,
Okay.
just like a fancy arcane symbol that is bright red on the inside of the door suddenly appears.
All right.
And then I'm going to walk up the wall so that I am above, I'm basically 5-10 feet above the door, just kind of looking down so that if somebody comes out of the door, I can kind of hit them.
Give me a perception check. You are now close enough. And Jacob, you sort of see a bunch of attention go to the door. As this big sort of arcane symbol appears on the inside.
Yay. It's probably not very big, but I'm definitely going to make it very bright and bold, and it's red and just looks, it looks dangerous.
All right, but it is not actually anything.
No.
Yeah. So one of those inside, you can hear them, Leone, and you hear them, Jacob. Just sort of look at that and go like, that doesn't mean anything.
Right. They've seen through my clever ruse.
Yeah, he made his Arcana check.
Well, darn it.
But yeah, they're all sort of distracted by that for the moment. So, Talyn, what are you doing?
I'm looking to see what is at the back of the building.
All right, there is a door at the back that looks like sort of very similar to the door at the front.
From what I would have gone to the back fairly quick.
Yep.
Have I heard them trying to do the same thing at this door? Does it sound like they're barricading this door as well?
No.
Can I quietly or stealthily just try the door to see if if it's unlocked?
Sure. It is unlocked.
Excellent. I'm going to try and just sneak a peek of what I can inside, not going in, but it's almost can I see without drawing attention?
Yep, opening the door a little bit.
Yep.
You see a long hall with a bunch of beds sort of lined up for about halfway down, and the rest of the beds are sort of up, being used either sort of as barricades or shelters, sort of behind the the wooden frames of them, that sort of thing. And currently, everybody in the room is looking in the other direction at some arcane rune that seems to be inscribed on the inside of the far door. And go ahead.
Do I know what the ruin is?
Arcana check.
I don't have Arcana, but we'll see how well this roll goes. Huh.
Yep. That rune doesn't mean anything.
Excellent. Okay.
And as you sort of peek in and see that everyone's focused off in the other direction, we will end right there. And leave people hanging a little bit for next week and see what happens. I know that we might be missing some people next week, so we'll see if we're back again or not. We'll see what we can do. But thank you very much for joining us this week. We appreciate having you, and hope you have a good week. And we'll see you again whenever we're on the next level.